So for us to come and do it, we weren't asked as often, and now we're not here, we're only here for 5 or 6 months a year, and so we haven't been asked for a long time, so, yeah.
But I think the hospital deal with that themselves now.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I went and seen this guy, Dave Marchant was his name, great big guy. And he had hepatitis C, right? Streptococcal, sorry. And they amputated both of his feet. And his hands were damaged a bit. And I went and talked to him and, you know, was just talking about myself, not about him. And his dad was there. And I left and whatever, and I went and golfed in an amputee tournament in Winnipeg, and his dad come over to me. He said, Paulus, I want to thank you very much. I said, I didn't recognize him. Well, he said, well, Dave Marchant, I'm his dad. He said, that day you went and talked to him, he said, the next day he got up and he started walking.
Wow.
So, you know, empowering each other, and the book is talking about empowering each other. If I can't empower you, I can't empower myself. So if I give compliments and I make people feel good, I'm producing good energy. But if I'm criticizing, it doesn't work. So the thing is, like I said before, like as kids we all have problems. Like, you know, some kids are abused, they were whatever, they develop survival skills to live through that. So if you see a person that's angry or having a hard time, you got to take back a little bit and say, you know what, something probably happened, that's why he's acting that way. So, and you know, you look at these poor countries like India, Mexico and stuff, these kids are on the street begging. Survival. It's just survival, that's all it is. And people, you know, they bully each other, survival. They develop survival skills. Why do we bully each other? It's because you were pushed and bullied yourself, and you defend yourself. So I find that pretty big in life, and I wrote quite a bit of stuff like that on that. And, you know, it's just like I talk about empowerment is so important, and we're all the same people. It's how we're treated and how it turns out. If we're treated like crap, we'll act like crap. Anyways, any questions?
Coming back to your accident, or even now, do you get flashbacks?
No, I haven't. I remember I did one
He
time.
hasn't for a long time.
But the thing is, too, I had to get my legs re-amputated in 2011 because the bones grew.
Well, they didn't do a proper amputation.
Well, that was an old style amputation. They didn't fuse them. Bridge them. So I had to go back for surgery, and it was how long? 4 or 5 hours. Again. And that really sent me in a dive. Really couldn't. I was depressed. I couldn't. And I was having a hard time. Really having a hard time. And I was in Mesa, Arizona. And as a Marine comes up and he started talking to me. He said, were you in the military? I said, no. I said, I survived the power line accident. And he kept talking to me and he said, do you have post-traumatic stress? I said, no, I don't think so. He said, how's your memory? I said, terrible. He said, how's a loud noise bother you? I said, terrible. And he said, how do you sleep? I said, I don't. He said, go read post-traumatic stress tonight when you get home. And that's what I have. Then I started going for counseling and talking about it. And the thing is, realizing that we go into survival mode, we produce very high levels of adrenaline. And when you produce these really high levels of adrenaline, it takes a long time to come down. The thing is, you see a person when they get really angry, how do they feel after? Usually they're depressed. Anger equals depression. And that's what post-traumatic stress is, really high and really low. And he said there's I can't remember the part in the back of your head that produces too much adrenaline after you've got post-traumatic stress. And actually, I don't take it anymore, but I was taking adrenal support. It helped me a lot. Kind of balances your adrenaline levels. And I've learned coping skills with it, like not to react. Don't let the squirrels fight. You start talking inside, sometimes it's not good. Any questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the gentleman that wrote the book with you? Like, how did you come about to pick him, or did he find you, or?
Yeah, Rodney Miles, no, I went to a chiropractor in Arizona. My back, I had a lot of back issues, problems like sciatic nerves and stuff. And I was talking to her and something of writing a book, and she gave me his name, Rodney Miles, and that's how I started communicating with him. Ended up being pretty good friends.
Where is he from?
He's from Florida. It's not Canadian, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, it's, Paul, can get his books written about a quarter the price in the US and shipped here for under a quarter
Yeah,
than what a Canadian publisher would do. Yeah, oh yeah.
that's crazy.
He tried to do it through a Canadian publisher, thinking it would be cheaper to bring it across the border. All he has to do is make a phone call, and they'll ship the books to wherever he wants.
I went self-publishing because if you go, I had about four or five publishers want to do my book. I would make $1 a book if they did it. You don't make nothing, so I said, what the hell? Do it myself. You did the same thing too.
That was another accomplishment for you too, eh?
Oh, it's
You
wonderful.
did the job.
Yeah, it's just like Rodney said. He said most people dream of writing a book. You did it.
I'm sure it was healing in itself.
Oh, absolutely. It's calmed me down a lot. Talking about my problems and it's just when you have a problem, you have to think of the solution. If something goes wrong, I learned that I have to think about the solution. How can I solve this? But if you just keep punishing yourself, and it just doesn't work.
I have something to say. You know this weather you just had? This beautiful snowstorm? In exactly 16 days from now, this beautiful snowstorm happened. And that's how my husband got electrocuted.
Yeah.
On the 29th of September.
Oh,
Huge
my
snowstorm,
Yeah.
and he went to work, and this is what happened.
But being a power line is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Every time it snows like that,
You go back.
we think.
Well, we work in the worst weather you can even imagine.
That's when
When it's snowing and it's big storms,
Yeah.
linemen are out there.
Yeah. And what year was that?
89.
89.
It'll be 29 years.
Just across from Marcel Cloutier where he used to live. I don't know if he still lives there.
I don't know. No, he's left.
He's like,
That was right
where did he
beside
live?
Northern.
Yeah,
North of
yeah.
Donnelly? Yeah.
We're in the corner there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The line used to go all the way to the highway and he took a piece out.
I have a question for Lorraine.
Uh-oh.
When the accident happened, you just got married.
Yeah, 1 week.
Oh my God, just 1 week, you were still in the honeymoon?
How did you do it?
Yeah.
How did you get through
That's a
all
question
this?
I cannot answer you until you're put in that predicament, and I'll ask you the same question. Because you know what, it's one of those things, and you know what I learned, I can remember when I was in the burn unit with Paul, and I never had any question, I never thought of ever walking away. That was never in my mind. And I mean, they were very well set up in the burn unit with psychologists and psychiatrists and everything. And I mean, I took it all in, because I knew I had to. And I can remember the one lady, she owns a hotel in,
Worsley?
no, the other one, Heinz
Heinz
No.
Creek?
Creek. Is it Heinz Creek? She is completely burnt. From Fairview. Barb. Okay, she was in the hospital with Paul. She had come in a week before Paul. And they threw her in the back of a pickup truck and they brought her to the hospital because they thought she was
Surgery.
dead. All she had left was a piece of live flesh on the top of her head the size of a dime and one in her vagina. That's all she had on her whole body that wasn't burnt.